We've come here today to have a look at behind the scenes of judging. We have a class staged here. The title is A Walk Around My Garden to feature garden plant material. We have a variety of styles of exhibits and they are all a very good standard. We are now going to look in detail at each exhibit. Okay, for all three exhibits, we are going to look at artistic merit, interpretation and practical merit. Let's look at interpretation for exhibit A first. Very much an English country garden, but a bright, joyful English country garden. Look at that polychromatic colour scheme. You can imagine a wonderful herbaceous border with those colours in, can't you? Now let's look at the artistic merit. That's the use of the elements and principles of design. Now one of the most dominant features in this exhibit is those beautiful blousy peonies, a big round bold form. Now that big round bold form is repeated right from the top of the design through into the rounds of the wood, right through to the second round through to the bottom. That gives excellent rhythm and it makes the eye flow right the way through the design. It's also well contrasted with a very linear aconitum, providing interest within the exhibit. My one problem with the design is the two bold, colourful placements need a slightly stronger link. You've got a bit of a void here in the centre of the design. So let's look at exhibit B. Interpretation first of all. Again, an English country garden, but this time in a parallel style of exhibit. At the base of the design, the plant material has been grouped and blocked as a basework and then uprights rising from that groundwork. We've got groups of hellebores, euonymus, and then geums and this wonderful quaking grass. Can you imagine the wind just going through the garden and making all this beautiful movement within the design? We've got a couple of points on the artistic merit. Down here we've got two sets of ivy leaves. They're a little bit large in scale when compared to the rest of the plant material. And then we look at the practical merit of the design. It's very well staged, but unfortunately we've got one little geum that's decided to wilt. Let's look at exhibit C. Firstly, the interpretation, a very different style of exhibit this time. Very Eastern feel to it, possibly Ikebana inspired. Just three different types of plant material arranged on a pin holder. So let's look at the artistic merit. Firstly, we've got a big bold clematis right in the centre of the design. Now that really draws the eye in, giving incredible depth to the design. Secondly, the use of colour. This subtle blue of the cerinthe is repeated in the delicate blue of the inside of the pot. A very clever touch. And then the balance. Where is it placed within the space allowed? It's placed to one side of that space. Now this is giving balance to the design by placement. Again, raising it from the base just gives a little bit of space underneath and allows it to be properly appreciated. My one problem with the design is the base, unfortunately, the bright blue of the base. It's just a little bit dominant and is catching the eye. Now we're going to look at all three exhibits and weigh the criteria to work out where we are going to place them. So let's look at exhibit A again. It was good use of artistic merit, the repetition of the round forms in contrast to the linear aconitum. But we did have a slight problem with the void in the centre of the design. The practical merit we could not fault. The plant material is all in excellent condition and it is very well staged. Exhibit B, an excellent interpretation, but as we noticed before, I've got a couple of problems. The ivy leaves at the front are a little bit out of scale and unfortunately one of the geums is looking a little bit sad. So therefore this exhibit has got two faults compared to this one of the slight void in A. Moving on to the third exhibit, again excellently staged and a good interpretation. We had a problem with the base, which is a little bit dominant. So this has got 1 foot against this 2. So I'm going to place exhibit B third. Now I have to look between exhibit C and exhibit A, both of which we say have got 1 foot. We've got the void in exhibit A and we've got the base in exhibit C. Looking between the two exhibits, the practical merit is better in exhibit A. I can't fault the quality of the plant material, and it is excellently staged. When I look at the base of exhibit C, it's a little bit damaged, a little bit dirty. So therefore, I would place exhibit A over exhibit C. So my first place would go to exhibit A, my second place to exhibit C, and third to exhibit B.